It is the stepladder finals of the GoBowling.com PWBA Twin Cities Open. My name is Emil Williams Jr. and pleased to be joined by Sydney Brummett. Greg Peasel is on the ones and twos tonight. And Sid, we watched a very fiery round of 12, really led by one person in general, and that is the number one seed here, Shannon Pluhowski. Dominated the round of 12, took over the top seed. She is in the lead, but right now we've got Stephanie Zavala, Jordan Richard, Crystal Elliott as a rookie, Sid making her first show of her career, and Verity Crawley. That's our opening match. Crystal Elliott, Verity Crawley. How do you see that one playing out?
You know, Crystal's going to have to get those nerves out of the way. First time bowling for a title, and she has to bowl none other than Verity Crawley. That's a little lucky for her. She's familiar with her, both being in the Florida area when Verity's not in England. So we'll see how it plays out.
All right, let's go to the lanes as Crystal Elliott and Verity Crawley get set to get us started here. In the opening match. Here's Crystal, first shot. Misses the head pin.
A little bit of nerves there. More than likely from Crystal. It was easy to throw it to the right and miss the head pin on the fresh. They're quite flat in that middle part of the lane.
Well, that first shot, even though this is not national television, I know that there certainly could be some nerves there. And, hey, we'll take that spare, certainly.
Oh, 100%. You know, talking to Crystal, I had the opportunity to cross next to her. And she, after the first block, was like, oh, my gosh, I'm a professional. Does this ever, you know, change? And I said, no, when it starts to not feel special, that's when you leave.
First shot for Crawley in a familiar situation. Urethane, and the fast pitch has been the go-to for Verity on the fresh specifically. And Sid, she was able to throw it a little bit more through the round of 12 because obviously less traffic, of course. And she actually went about, what, 5 games? At least 4 with the fast pitch before making a move.
At least 4, and then she got out of our easy viewing action here in front of us, and so I couldn't really tell what she threw games 5 and 6, but yeah, through the first 4 games in the round of 12 she threw urethane, playing fairly straight. The only person we saw that had as much success as she did playing that straight was Dasha Kovalova, who just barely missed our finals tonight.
Crawley. Early double.
2 quality shots there from a veteran. Verity may only have 2 titles, but I'd love to know how many second place finishes she has out here on tour. It feels like hundreds to me.
Yeah, she's at a minimum 4.
And easily those could go a different way, right? And all of a sudden we say Verity has 6 titles, right?
So here is Elliott. Oh. And how many head pins and messengers have we seen go in front of 10 pins here this weekend, Sid?
Too many. Too many. It's fun to watch women throw messengers. I don't know.
Oh, well,
it's exciting.
I mean, it was a ton this week.
Yeah. I had Crystal and Daria to my right, so imagine how many I watched for 12 games.
Yeah, we talked about that during the round of 12, so you were not shorted by any stretch of the imagination. Verity early double. Scoreboard on its way, folks. Don't fret. Crystal clean through 2, but trailing after a couple of frames here. Opening match, if you are just joining us, GoBowling.com, PWBA Twin Cities Open. Thank you to Go Bowling. Elliott, 23 years of age. Her first career stepladder final. And her first strike of the stepladder finals of phase 2, it looks like, for Crystal.
Between Crystal and Verity, we're seeing a tale of two strategies on this pattern. There was the idea of, you know, slide somewhere around 25 on the fresh and just get it to the right of the tracer down lane around 8. Or you can go much straighter through the fronts like Verity is. Verity choosing to use urethane to do that, but other players would use some low flaring bowling balls to do the same.
Here is Verity looking for 3 in a row here. Frame 3. Bang. Verity has had games of 270 plus on the fresh. In fact, way back in round number 1. Crawley shot 279. Again, out the gates in game 1, then 265 on the fresh with the same ball, playing the same area of the lane, using the fast pitch, using urethane, and only shot 231 in the round. The round of 25 or round 3 this morning. So I think you couldn't have picked a bowler to be more comfortable out the gates. How about 4 in a row? You bet. Our scoring powered by Lane Talk. Oh, Elliott about to step up, trailing by 31. Nice venue, great venue here. The facility has been fantastic. Thank you to Sharon Hansen and Brent Prentice, Tony Valentini, and the entire staff here at Cedarville Lanes. This is the 5th national stop that this center has held since the relaunch of the PWBA Tour. Elliott, 4th frame. And a 4-9.
I think if we could come back here every year, the ladies would sign a petition for us to do that. Coming back and seeing Brent and the staff here at Cedarville it's great every year. They provide us with, you know, snacks and food, right? All the extra little things that we love. But overall, he's just an incredibly supportive proprietor. Makes us feel loved and welcomed when we walk into the center.
Give it a run. Oh, how about that? The 4-9 conversion.
And just a small little fist bump, you know? Nothing crazy, no wild reaction. Just like she, you know, I do that.
From Palm Bay, Florida, and here's a good look at that 4-9. Just textbook, right, Sid?
That's how I would have drawn it up. Interestingly, Crystal does use urethane on her spares. Most women out on tour, aside from Shannon P, is the only person I can think of that doesn't use plastic.
This won an NCAA championship with Jacksonville State, throwing shots just like that, making splits just like the one we just saw. Elliott started the career at Nebraska. Ironically enough, Crystal Elliott was coached by Shannon Pluhowski when she first started her career at Nebraska, and really Shannon Pluhowski was one of the players, coaches that really helped elevate Crystal Elliott. And now she gets a chance to bowl in the same show as someone who helped her tremendously collegiately. But now on to Verity Crawley. Good look at what she's working with regarding equipment. He's got a push. Oh, how about that low level? Lane 28 looking good. GP on the ones and twos. Great shot by Crawley. That's the front five if you're scoring at home. By the way, folks, don't forget, if you just joined us for the first time, many of you have been watching all week, but there will be 3 bowling ball giveaways tonight. They will happen in between matches, courtesy of Storm, Brunswick, and Hammer. Verity Crawley for 6 in a row. Half dozen.
That one was a little bit further left than the other shots that she's thrown, and it held. It's a good sign for Verity. More than likely, there's not going to be somebody right-handed on this show who's going to play that far right on the pattern. So she could hang out there all by herself until she finds Shannon O'Keefe, or my apologies, Shannon Blahowski in the finals.
A little bit of weak at 10 there. Lucky to get the 7-pin out. Multi-time All-American, including a first-team selection in 24. The reigning U.S. Amateur Champion. Took care of that in in January of this year, the turn of the year at Team USA trials. Just came from Team USA camp with the rest of the squad. Good spare. I'm sure the Jacksonville State squad, many of whom actually also competed for the first time as professionals this week. Rebecca Hagerman joining the tour along with Kayla Smith and Miranda Pattison. So 4 Gamecocks made their way on tour this year. Big deficit for Crystal Elliott, trailing by 51. Working against Crawley's early 6-bagger to start our opening match, the GoBowling.com PWBA Twin Cities Open. All right, good pin carry.
You know, if you're Crystal right now, it's the thought process is I just have to keep making good shots, like just one after the other. It's not as though she's bowled a poor game, right? I think that is the last 6 shots have been pocket hits, right? So it's just a matter of how do I get them to fall down on the right lane like I want them to.
Well, when you're working against someone who is uberly confident, especially with their game plan and strategy on the fresh, it is difficult. Crawley looking for the front 7. And there it is. Verity Crawley puts 7 on the board in the opening match. 5 years to the day, ladies and gentlemen. Crawley lost in this very building to Shannon O'Keefe in 2019, 189 to 182 in the finals. And now she is trying to climb the ladder to get back into the title match and seal the deal 5 years later. But a long road ahead still. But this crowd, who is always great here in Eagan, Minnesota, in for a scrumptious treat. Can she make it 8? Bang! Front 8 for Verity Crawley. Fast pitch, the ball of choice. And now is a good time to tell you folks that for perfection achieved here at any point during the stepladder finals, GoBowling.com will award that individual a bonus of $10,000. needless to say, that is in play.
I hope that you're not a black cloud and more like just like the gray one.
Just kind of
that,
contractually obligated to say it out loud.
Think it might rain.
Elliott.
Great shot there from Crystal, her first time striking on the right lane.
If you're just joining us again, top 5 led by Shannon Pluhowski, who claimed the top seed after a remarkable round of 12. Went plus 244. Stephanie Zavala, the number 2 seed. Jordan Richard is waiting in the wings, the reigning player of the year. She is the number 3 seed and will face the winner of this match. 61 pin deficit at the moment for Elliott. Oh, that was a great shot. For Crystal, just talked about coming in, being prepared to really for anything to happen. She said she almost over-prepared because, you know, her first goal was to just make it through the PTQ. And obviously not only did she make it through the PTQ, she made it all the way to the televised finals. Now to Crawley. Front 9 for Crawley.
Awesome shot there from V. Her last one on that lane didn't go through the pins quite as well as she would have liked. And some advice I've heard out on tour recently has been it doesn't really matter if it goes through the pins perfectly every time. They don't always have to be 10 straight back or ball through the 8-9.
Crawley gets herself set. Locked in. For 10 in a row. There it is again. 6 into the 10. The Crawley faithful, the Patriots are here in full effect in Eagan, Minnesota.
She's gonna ball change team.
How about that? Now see, that's a professional.
I'm so here for this. Like,
this is incredible.
Because it's not about right now for her. It's how do I win the next match?
She's thinking long term.
Right.
This is also the same ball. Again, the exact same process and strategy, folks. Fast pitch, then she gets a look at the optimum idle every single time. It's happened every round on the fresh. Only this time, she's got 300 on the line. She's going to get a look at a different ball. And will still strike. Are you kidding me? And she looks over to the crowd. Great friend Diana Zavjalova Ninichka over there. Verity Crawley, again, this folks, she's just getting a look at this optimum idle because that's what she's been doing the entire time. So she's really doing the 2-for-1 here, right? She's putting the crowd into a double frenzy. I admire what she's doing, but here it is, folks. For perfection. Through the nose, 3-6-10. No bonus for Verity Crawley. 297. There was a bonus, courtesy of Go Bowling, for $10,000. That is the ultimate welcome to the PWBA Tour, rookie.
Yeah, you know, for Crystal, this is a game that if you said, hey, Crystal, you know what, you're going to miss the pocket. You know, I'm assuming she's going to have another great shot here. Of course she does. But, you know, hey, Crystal, you're going to hit the pocket, you know, 9 out of 10 times. You know, you're every time you hit the pocket, you're going to strike except once or twice. Would you take that? Of course, her answer is going to be yes. So this is a game that, if I was with her, a part of her, team, sort of, per se, I would ask, would you bowl that game again? Would you execute the same way? And if her answer is yes, then shoot, there's nothing to hang your head about.
Well, folks, that's about as good of an opening match as you'll ever see right here on Bowl TV. Crystal Elliott will fall in this opening match, but ladies and gentlemen, that could be your 2024 PWBA Rookie of the Year right there.
If I had to place my bets right now, I said it. I picked up Fania from the airport, and Fania said, "Hey, do you know who that girl is?" And I said, "Yeah, it's Crystal Elliott." Said she's my vote for Rookie of the Year if we had to give it away right now. So I hope she continues to bowl well. She works really hard. She's a great human. She's very kind. She loves bowling. So it's cool to watch these young women come out on tour, and she's got dreams coming true straight away. So I hope they continue to happen for her for the next couple months out here in the 2024 season.
297 to 225, the official tally. And, well, I mean, you can't start any better than that. So we might as well follow it up with our first bowling ball giveaway of the evening. We will go with according to the order on what we're looking at here. We'll go Storm first. So make sure you get yourself ready. Storm bowling ball will be given away, raffled off. The giveaway officially now is underway. If you are watching in full screen mode, remember to check out of full screen. That is the only way you'll be able to see the prompts, the lower thirds, on the left side of the video screen. Naturally, Sid, we've watched what Verity has done to no surprise from a strategic perspective. Of course, there is everyone in the building wondering from a monetary perspective, did she even know? And it's a good question to ask. But ultimately, if she wins the title, yeah, it'll be $10K, but she will have achieved the ultimate goal, which is to win, period.
Right. And I have been fortunate enough to be around Verity a lot the last few months, and not once have I heard her talk about money. She's talked about experience. She's talked about winning. She's talked about, her legacy, educating people about bowling, sharing her love for the sport. So I don't really know. I know she looked over to her tour team and said, we're going to try this ball now, and they said yes. So it could have been the plan all along. We don't know. Somebody knows.
You got a few seconds to enter, folks. Make sure you click submit entry. We've got a few seconds. Will Tabitha win? Will Kim win? Kim, who has never won anything on Bowl TV, will she win tonight? The answer is no, she won't, because Sarah has won the Storm Bowling Ball giveaway. Kim, we got 2 more chances. 2 more. We'll get you there, maybe. But congratulations to Sarah. You've got yourself a Storm Bowling Ball. Please be watching your email, okay? Check that inbox. Check the spam folder. Check the junk folder. The Bowl TV marketing squad will be in contact with you to figure out all of the shipping details and get you what you need. But congratulations. We've got 2 additional opportunities courtesy of Brunswick and Hammer. And shout out to Storm, proud gold partners here of the PWBA Tour. All right, Sid, Jordan Richard the reigning PWBA Player of the Year, led for a good portion of this event. Managed to, of course, remain or fall into the 3rd spot, but never fell out of the top 5. Jay Rich, I thought, has had a very good plan throughout the day or throughout the weekend also. The round of 12 was a little bit of an up and down situation, but she was able to mellow out, remain in the top 5. How do you see Jordan attacking the lanes, especially considering where and what Verity is currently doing?
So I'm watching her throw a cleaner bowling ball than I have seen her throw. So more than likely so she can stay further to the right. She's sliding right of where we just saw Crystal. So that could be her game plan to try and compete with Verity. Essentially, Verity could create hold for Jordan if she is to the right of her in the middle part of the lane. I would think Jordan and her tour team at this point are saying, how do we use Verity's urethane going down the lane as help rather than something that could hinder us?
Richard has chosen to have Verity begin the match on the left lane here. All right, how about a round of applause for these two as we continue this race for that first title of the year. As soon as the names come up, we'll begin the competition here. Good luck.
Jordan has elected to have Verity start the match. Obviously said it's hard to tell maybe which lane Verity preferred, if she had a lane better than the other. She threw it so well, so very difficult to even decipher that. But where do you fall in the, who gets to go first? If you have choice, where do you fall? How do you make that decision if you're in that situation?
Yeah, whichever lane I think I'm going to strike more on, I'm going to choose to finish on that lane.
Match number 2 underway. And it starts just like match 1 began.
A good sign there from Verity. There's a lot of practice shots that just went down the lane. So they're going to transition. They're going to change a little bit. This pair could see more transition than we saw in the round of 12, just because of how many practice shots are going to go down the lane. So how long Verity can stay in this urethane is up to how those practice shots are utilized.
First shot, step ladder finals for Jordan Richard. And that's a good one for Jay Rich. Jordan, the reigning, again, PWBA Player of the Year. 5 total wins. 3 last season, the GoBowling.com. How about that? She won the GoBowling.com Spokane Open. That's already good vibes because this event's sponsored by Go Bowling. She won the Great Lakes Classic and the Bowlers Journal Cleveland Open. That one looked like it was slightly labored. Maybe she just missed it a little bit, but it didn't matter.
Well, and
that rev rate helped.
Well, and it's interesting that you say that because I was over watching the practice and noticed that Jordan was messing around with some tape and some finger grips. And it appeared when she took her first shot that something didn't feel quite right. Like it was a possibility that maybe her finger ripped open or something had happened because she said like, oh, I put tape on it. So that could be why she's in a cleaner bowling ball. That could be why you feel like she missed it a little bit.
All right, get up.
Crawley, another one. The smile, well, says it all as we are even through 2 frames here. Verity still in the fast pitch. Crawley 2 wins. Captured one of those last year at the Grand Rapids Classic. That was part of the Grand Rapids Classic Series Week at Spectrum Lanes, the Spectrum Entertainment Complex in Wyoming, Michigan. Her first title came back at the 2021 Greater Nashville Open.
That shot hooks a little early for V, leaving a 3-6-9-10. Last one I saw her shoot, she hooked at. I would assume she'll do the same here.
Three, 6, 9, 10. That 3-pin looks slightly offset to the left. Well, that's about as well as you can cover that.
I would think that would be helpful, the 3-pin being to the left a little bit. For those asking, yes, Jordan is throwing a high wire.
That's OG.
Oh boy, we're going back for that one.
That's an OG.
If I remember correctly, it's a clean symmetric piece. But that takes a lot of thinking to remember, so somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Just kidding, I can look it up, team.
This is, but that's not uncommon too for Jordan. I mean, she threw a high wire, not a lot, not a ton, but in certain situations, it was a piece of equipment that she was not afraid to go back to, and so that just tells me there's an extreme level of comfort, certainly there, and understands what that ball will do.
Yeah, almost all of the women on tour, we have a bowling ball that's like that, that we'll go back and we'll drill fairly often. We probably have them stashed in our homes, so that way when the one that we're using now, we can just drill a new one. I know I'm that way, a lot of players are that way, but just looked up the numbers. It's like a medium differential, so it doesn't want to flare a ton. High RG, symmetric bowling ball. And for all you cover nerds out there, it is a hybrid.
Oh, great. Oh, no. On the messenger. This was a 3-pin advantage. The high wire. If you're just joining us, this is match number 2 in our opening match. Verity Crawley took us on a ride, folks. She had the front 11. 3-6-10. On the field, she shot 297 against PWBA Tour rookie and possible future Rookie of the Year this season, Crystal Elliott. And Crystal bowled a fantastic game. Obviously ran into a tough opponent and a tough score as Jordan takes care of this spare. Verity 29. Again, of course, from England. Makes her home at the Kegel Training Center. Sid, you were talking to me during the round of 12 about the amount of times now that you get a chance to watch Verity work and some of the takeaways that you have, kind of garnered into your mind here.
Yeah, she's had a lot of influence. Great shot there, flat 10. A lot of influence over how I've trained the last few months getting ready for the tour, just watching and observing her. Unfortunately, we don't have a ton of time that we can practice together. Our schedules are the opposite. But she spends so much time working on strategy and understanding her equipment and the options that she has. The last few years, I've spent more time working on, physical game things. So watching her has been a blessing that I didn't really know I needed.
These are two players who have both spent some time in title matches here at Cedarville Lanes. I mentioned Verity back in 2019. Jordan finished 3rd in 2018 here at the Twin Cities Open. Rocio Restrepo won in 2018. And great to see Ro back in PWBA Tour competition. It's been Rocio, Shannon O'Keefe, Dasha Kovalova, Shannon O'Keefe, and now to be determined here tonight.
All right, there we go. Get
Frame 5. And the mixer. Sid, I was curious if Verity was going to make the change to reactive based on the flat 10 on the right lane. Do you see the situation, like what do you think it must take or might take for Verity to get out of urethane?
It's going to be leave like a 3-6-10 combo, make the move left 2-pin. That is the great shot there from Jordan. That's the telltale sign of I probably should get out of this, because when it hooks early and then you make the move and it never hooks, the ball is just not enough for how far left you're getting. But if I were Verity right now, this ball motion is incredible. So she has many tricks up her sleeve. She can get around it more. She can throw it a little bit slower. Both of those options will allow her to stay in urethane longer.
Spare again handled by Verity. Of course, this one is starting and moving at a much different pace than our previous match. Now a 2-pin at the moment lead for Jordan Richard. Again, the opening event of the 2024 season. Emil Williams Jr. with Sydney Brummett, Greg Peasel, Patrick Martinez hanging out as well. Thanks to Cecil Scarborough handling our talent stats tonight. I want to thank Curtis Von Kruger, Leah Zweig, full crew here to try to get this thing all ready for you. Richard. Oh, that was good. Winner tonight will take home $20,000. Again, first place, $20,000. The runner-up will receive $10,000. Third, $7,500. Fourth, $6,500. So not a bad outing for, or excuse me, fifth, $5,500, and not a bad outing for Crystal Elliott. Let's take home $5,500 in your first professional event here. Now back to Crawley. Left a very weak 10. Last time up on 28. Great view there of the 6 taking out the 10. I think for me specifically with Verity on this lane pattern, 38 feet, 30 mils. We talked about the reverse brush with Sid a little bit earlier. There's the graph. I mean, she has been steadfast in two things. One, I'm going to throw the fast pitch on the fresh. My ball 2 is going to be the optimum idle. If I get a fill shot, I'm throwing the optimum no matter what. In fact, she's even not gotten fill shots, left a single pin after striking, first one in the 10th, leaves 9 count, and then is going to throw the idle no matter what. Saw her do it in the 10th frame. Previous game, the light mixer again on the left lane. Big fist pump.
Yeah, the fast pitch is starting to get a little bit slow for V. And I would say you were just talking about how she would throw the optimum pretty much no matter what in her fills. And she has been open about saying, no, I'm not the greatest at knowing when to get out of the urethane ball when I'm throwing it. So taking the opportunity to use those fill shots, even if it means missing a pin, can give her insight.
Richard trailing by 18. Bang. Boy, you can feel that one all the way back in Tipton, Michigan. 28 years of age, 5 titles. Jordan has been on a gazillion shows, it feels like, at this point. But she talked to me a little bit yesterday after having such a great evening and taking the overall lead last night. And said that was a few nerves, and we talked about her goals for this year, wanting to win a major is goal number 1. She also talked about the difficulties of, figuring out these step-ladder finals, winning on TV. It's obviously not the most easiest thing in the world. That's got a hook. Oh, it came all the way back from the Wisconsin border, which is where Greg Piesel came from. 2.5 hours away.
Not so sure that one was going to get back from there, but I'm a firm believer that down here in this high-end bay, can throw it to the right early and get it back if your ball is starting to change directions before the end of the pattern. On the low end, not so much. But down here, the front's hook just a little bit sooner than some of the other pairs that we had bowled on.
Verity now trailing by 2. So we get down to the final frames. Frame 8. Oh, that was just pure all the way through. And with that low level angle, you can actually see it going right to left.
Yeah, one thing that's awesome to do when we're watching the low angles from Verity or any of the players is watch as their ball starts to change direction. We want the ball to be in a stable position as it goes through the pins. We hear it called that fancy term roll all the time. And I want my ball to roll through the pins. It means that your ball has completely changed direction. PAP is in a nice stable place. Verity now up 8 after that last strike.
Lead change indeed. What a match. Stephanie Zavala waiting in the wings. Maybe. 7-pin. That one looked like a maybe as it was inching closer and closer to the 1-3 Sid. Did you see it as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the last time Verity threw a shot on 27th, fast pitch is getting a little slow, meaning it doesn't want to continue its motion down lane. Term I heard a lot when I was a little girl was, oh, my ball is rolling out. Kind of like that.
Well, what that now does is it's going to allow Jordan Richard to step up 9th and 10th and win this match. Spare made. Max scores Richard 257. Max scores for, or excuse me, max score for Verity Crawley 244. The opportunity to shut out is available for Richard. To be able to do that, she's got to strike here. Oh, and that's a really good break for Jordan Richard. As Stephanie Johnson, who joined us earlier, joined me earlier in Bowl TV, talked about getting good breaks and then parlaying them into continued strings. That's a 4-bagger for Jordan Richard.
And a re-rack.
Jordan's going to need at least 2. A shutout situation. Re-rack there. Allow me to redo some math. Looks like strike 9 out would be enough. Gotta have this one though. Oh, that's right. That's real right. That's real right. And leaves a 2-8-10. Wow. Boy, just the exact opposite of what you'd expect there in that situation. Nothing seemed off. She even took the re-rack, maybe for extra time.
2 here is important.
I nearly made that thing.
Verity now needs just a mark to secure a win against Jordan Richard in this second match.
Well, there's a possibility of a tie. 9 out would be 222. Mark is a winner. To advance. Oh, Verity Crawley rolls the 2 for a dub. And Crawley, wow. VC is going to advance and one more rung up the ladder here at the GoBowling.com Twin Cities Open.
Hey, Emil, I bet she's going to try the idol. Crazy idea.
Smart money would say so, yes.
Where's the bet line on that one?
Wow, Richard leaves at 2-8-10, folks, and we all saw it. That's the difference in this match. She's going to the optimal, just as she did in the 10th frame in game 1.
Being in Verity's shoes, let's imagine we're her for a second. There were many shots that game where the 6-pin went right quickly, right? Late tap on the 10. How many times do we say good hit on the 10? We have to pay attention to those hits, right? There's going to be more shots that go down the lane here. One more from Verity, and then a few more from Stephanie Zavala. The lane is going to transition. So if you're Verity, of course you just bowled another great game. You have a great score, 240. But is the fast pitch, is urethane going to give me another quality score here? Or do I need to make the transition, stay ahead of it, and get into reactive at this point?
All right, bowling fans, how about a round of applause for Jordan Richard? Solid performance.
Great tournament to open up things for Jordan Richard, the reigning PWBA Player of the Year. She made 6 shows last year, did Jordan, and off to a great start, obviously, making a show here. But she will finish 4th, and Verity Crawley will continue to advance. Stephanie Zavala is the opponent from Long Beach, California, formerly of Downey, California. The 27-year-old already with 5 titles, entering her 4th season on the PWBA Tour. Well, we know what is next, folks. And in just a second, we will have our second bowling ball giveaway of the day. It is courtesy of Brunswick. Courtesy of Brunswick. Big thanks to, again, Storm, Brunswick, and Hammer. So our second giveaway of the night, again, courtesy of Brunswick. Let's see if GP, you got that one? Okay, GP is on it. There we go. The giveaway is on and popping, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but if you win this giveaway, you should order a cipher. That's all I got to say.
All right, so again, make sure you, specifically if you're watching in full screen, make sure you get out of full screen so you can see the prompts live here on Bowl TV. They're in the bottom left, lower third of your video screen. If you're watching on your mobile browser or app, you can also see them there, and you should see them there. All right, so there's a first or top countdown. That one elapses, and then we move into where you should click Submit Entry. Again, Submit Entry. That's all you have to do to be eligible. Submit Entry. All right, so while we wait for our winner, Sid, I am very curious how Stephanie Zavala is now going to play the lanes, right? You assume that her angles will be slightly more open. Maybe she'll be a little bit further left than Jordan was, perhaps. But with this urethane that has already gone down the lane on this pair, how would that potentially affect Stephanie's ball motion and therefore her strategy during this match?
You know, I would actually assume it would help her.
Okay.
So anytime that urethane went down the lane, it created the ability to have your ball be slower down lane. With this 38-foot pattern, there's not a ton of taper down it. So getting your ball to slow down in any way that you can is helpful. Stephanie's rev rate is high. She likes to go left to right. So Verity's carry down could help her.
Congratulations to Sashimi, who has won a a Brunswick bowling ball, I beg your pardon, a Brunswick bowling ball of choice. Thank you to Sashimi for entering, and thanks to all of you for entering. And again, thank you to our gold partners here, Brunswick, Kegel, Lane Talk, Storm, and GoBowling.com. Sashimi, as if you were listening during our opening match and our first giveaway, again, the Bowl TV marketing team will be reaching out to you to get all of the necessary details. Those details include, shipping address, phone numbers, etc., and so forth, so they can make sure they get your bowling ball and get you connected with whoever you need to be connected with. Thank you again for watching tonight. Folks, we've got one more bowling ball giveaway. It will be just prior to the championship match right here on Bowl TV. Stephanie Zavala, the number 2 seed here tonight. Left lane stats courtesy of Cecil Scarborough, 9 of 12. This is for Verity Crawley, of course, now through 2 matches. On the right lane, 11 of 12. I'm going to curse here, Cecil. Damn.
The only one she missed was for 300.
How about that? And the lone miss on the right lane was for perfection. Cecil Scarborough. Boy, we were treating this just like we would on TV. I appreciate Cecil for hanging out with me. He makes me feel like a true professional because he allows me to just look at his paper and tell me what's happening, so I don't have to do that also.
And actually a correction there, because Verity's last shot was on the left lane. So her only miss has been that flat 10 that we saw.
Flat 10, excuse me.
Flat 10 that we saw.
Verity's going to begin again. Did she start the first match? She did not. So Verity elected Crystal Elliott to start the match. And then Jordan Richer was the higher seed. She allowed Verity to start. Stephanie Zavala, same thing. She is going to allow Verity to start. But according to this, of course, the right lane has been very kind to Verity, and that's the lane she's going to end on.
Yeah, I would say if you want your ball to hook early, the right lane is awesome. If you want your ball to not hook early, the right lane is not awesome. So for Verity, she's like, hey, sign me up. My opponent wants me to finish on that right lane, but that's only if she's throwing urethane. The minute she makes a change to reactive, the right lane will more than likely get harder. It's been earlier pretty much the entire tournament.
All right, here we go, folks. Our semifinal match.
Verity starting with her urethane. Wrap 10.
Good shot to open.
With Verity here, we're going to see her walk through transition. It's awesome that she's made it this far through the stepladder finals because we're going to get to live this with her. You know, when do I make the move from urethane to reactive? I'm in firm belief that depending on the scoring pace of this match, we could see it happen in this game.
First shot coming up here for Stephanie Zavala. 27 years old. Again, 5 wins already with 1 major. Nice opening shot. Hard to believe, but if you watch her bowl, it's not hard to believe that someone could amass 5 wins in just 3 seasons. She's won a title every year she's been out, including a major. Again, it's about as good of a start as you can ask for to a career as a professional.
First shot here for Stephanie on the left lane.
Oh, no.
I think that's a great result for her on this left lane first shot, only because practice was looking a little bit sketch on the left lane.
How sketch was it?
Pretty sketch. And also, practice doesn't count for score. So she may have had a completely different thought process than, you know, I want to hit the 1-3 right now, I want to strike every time. It might have been, well, let's see how far right I can throw it on this lane, or how far in front of me can I miss? Because more than likely, you're going to want to pick the lane that you have the most miss room on. So that way, when you need a double or all 3 in the 10th to win the match, you're choosing the lane that you don't have to be perfect on.
Well, we know what Verity has been choosing. We'll find out exactly what Stephanie Zavala is throwing, just to confirm. Frame 2, Verity. And we're getting close. We're getting close, Sid.
Yeah, my 2 cents is I would, if I'm Verity, I'd give it one more frame on the left lane, because you know for sure you have a decent look, you can get to the 1-3, and then you see what Stephanie does. If Stephanie doubles, you ball change. If Stephanie falls into the same scoring pace that you do, you stay consistent, you stay patient. Situational bowling is at play here.
Four, 7. Piece of cake there. Again, thank you to GoBowling.com. You see the signs off in the crowd. What you don't see, kind of behind, directly behind lanes 27 and 28, a full gallery of fans on the bleachers, all with their Go Bowling signs as well. Verity Crawley has won 2 matches. Front 11, 3-6-10 in the opening match, 297-225 to defeat Crystal Elliott. And a very good match, as you just saw, 244-222 over Jordan Richard. Now facing the number 2 seed, Zavala. And that's actually the first split of any match.
Jordan Richard, 2-8-10. But that is the first high split we've seen.
From Verity?
From Verity, yes,
specific.
100%. Verity gonna go to, I believe she uses a mix on her spares. She gets the count. And in this moment, she has to just be brave, right, or courageous, because getting out of urethane can be scary. You're going from the smoothest ball reaction on the planet, which is why people choose it. It's predictable, you know what it's going to do, but when it's wrong, it's usually very wrong.
Looks like the Wolverine strike is the ball of choice at the moment. And boy, that's the second consecutive hit we've seen that will not get that 7-pin out. Other balls for Zavala in the arsenal tonight. Honey Badger Intensity, a Attention Star, and Wolverine Dark Moss.
Stephanie also going to use plastic on her spares. Converts to 7 pin.
Pin advantage here for Zavala. Now married, Chris in the building, her husband. And if you follow the tour, of course, Chris has been out since Stephanie has been out on tour. Only difference is now, of course, they're official. Official. Can she make this frame official? Yes, she can. Fourth frame strike for Zavala.
The one thing that I appreciate, there are a lot of things I appreciate about Stephanie, but the number one thing I appreciate about Stephanie is her body language when we're competing is always positive. It's big, it's tall, you know that she's present. Even when she's not having the best scores, she always seems in the moment, here. We just saw it with that strike on 27. She doesn't have to say anything or have these big reactions. It's just like, hi, I'm Stephanie, and you're going to remember that I'm still present and I'm still here.
Verity coming off her first open frame through 2 matches. Now 3 matches, 2.5.
And we have a ball change.
Reactive on the, there it is. Not a blind ball change by any stretch. It was just a matter of when she was going to commit to the reactive. And it comes now in frame 4 here in the semifinals.
Yeah, I'm proud of her for committing to it and changing to it. I've heard her talk a lot about the struggle of, well, when do I make that change?
See Verity get in that setup position, an optimum idle. The deep breath, always the flower in the hair. Tonight it's red. Bang. Lead down to 5 for Zavala after the double for Crawley.
That double was big for Verity. You know, committing to the ball change, seeing the shape correctly.
Was left the whole way.
That made that spare a lot easier.
I don't know. That one's just as choppable.
I would rather shoot this one.
6, 9, 10 as the 3-pin falls forward, as you saw.
Well, and now the 6-pin's looking a little off spot. She can ask, because it moved when it set it back down, she can ask for it to be respotted if she wants. From your guys' angle, it looks much better than ours.
Very true. Wow.
See, that's one of those times
Splitting
where you
the
were
difference.
a gray cloud, like you thought it might go wrong, you thought it might rain, but it doesn't, and it's okay.
Good spare nonetheless. Oh. How about them apples? There's a good look. Light mixer into the 10. Nice job. Now to Crawley. 6 frame. Bang again.
That one got to the friction quick, very quick. That officially gives us a lead change. Verity now up 5.
Lead changes in abundance. Here in the semifinal match, the top seed waiting in the wings. Down there warming up is Shannon Pluhowski. A couple of majors under her belt. A future Hall of Famer, 24-time Team USA member. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wow.
For the record, she created that for herself. She did that. Every ounce of holds was developed by Verity in that lovely urethane ball that she threw.
Go a little bit further into that for our viewers here. So, you know, if urethane is not prevalent, but they watch professional bowling and it's prevalent, obviously, in this arena, talk to me a little bit more about that after this volley shot. He trails by 15, and oh.
Okay, we saw a lot of 7-10s this week, so I was quite a bit nervous there for her. With urethane, the ball does not, the flare rings on the ball are not as wide as reactive bowling balls, more often than not. So when a urethane ball goes down the lane, oil is often touching the lane where oil was not applied by the machine. So it creates carry down, or oil that's down lane. So when a reactive ball gets thrown and it gets to the right of that carry down, it creates like a fake hold, essentially, that the pattern, an unfortunate miss there for Stephanie, but that the pattern didn't develop. You know, I was fortunate to follow Verity and Daria, who threw urethane in the first 2 qualifying rounds. Because of my ball speed and how much rotation I have, it was helpful for me to be following them. However, for Stephanie right now, it could be negatively affecting her.
First open frame for Zavala. Huge miscue. She trails by 27 now, and from bad to worse, 2-8-10 there for Zavala. Well, we talked about how urethane's certainly benefiting potentially for Verity Crawley. Is it the reverse? Now we're later in this match, Sid, for Stephanie?
Oh, 100%. Stephanie would need to be a little bit slower to get her ball to shape the correct way, continue to go through the pins the correct way, or rotate it more. She does have a higher rev rate. She almost made that. She does have a higher rev rate, and that forces her further left, but with a little bit more rotation and a slower ball speed, her ball would continue to go through the pins the correct way.
Well, back-to-back opens. It's a 38-pin advantage for Verity Crawley. She made the ball change in frame 4 from urethane to reactive, hasn't missed since. Can she keep it going? You bet. That is someone with a sound mind and a sound game plan. You know, obviously, Sid, players talk often about game plans. Sometimes, obviously, they work out well. Sometimes you got to pivot. but you can really hone in on a game plan in this type of situation where everyone can view said game plan, and it is working to perfection.
Absolutely. As a player, the goal when you're talking to your tour team is, okay, what am I going to start with on the fresh? And then what's next? And if everything goes wrong, do I have a plan to bail me out of jail?
Trying to get to another televised final here. That shot wraps a 10-pin. Verity has put herself in numerous situations through her time on tour. This is her 17th championship round appearance. Made her first back in 2017 as a tour rookie.
Was that Detroit?
It was
Is that
Detroit.
right?
She faced, of course, her great friend Daria Paya. It was Daria's first win. For Verity specifically, again, the Greater Nashville Open in 2021. And we will have a classic series at Smyrna Bowling Center in Smyrna, Tennessee, again, just outside of Nashville. So it will certainly be friendly confines for Verity when the tour gets there at the end of this month. And of course, winning last year in 2023. Zavala took home the Bowl TV Classic last year. This one is still mathematically alive. Any non-strike from this moment on for Zavala, and Crawley will advance again to face Shannon Pluhowski, the #1 seed.
You can see Stephanie's best friends out here on tour. Olivia and Julia standing behind her, watching her. I learned that Stephanie started a YouTube channel recently.
Yeah, she was out there getting content today.
I think that's what Olivia's doing for her right now. So if you haven't yet, go follow Stephanie. Support the content the women put out on tour.
And with that ring 10, this one is mathematically over. Verity Crawley is going to advance one more rung up the ladder. Rung by damn rung by damn rung. Crawley climbing.
Verity still has to be focused in this 10th frame. She's about to bowl who I believe had the best look, and I don't think it's arguable who had the best look in that round of 12 in Shannon Pluhowski. She'll have to be focused in this 10th frame to ensure her ball motion is still what she wants it to be. Do I need to try something different? Official score for Stephanie, 172. First event of the year and a great finish for her. She said she wanted to be player of the year, and starting off with a 3rd place finish is putting her right on that path.
First ball we will see that is not a fast pitch or an optimum idle. Good shot.
Looked like it could possibly be the road or a phase 2. I have confirmation it is the road. They have the same colors. They look the same. It'd be surprising if she went from an idle to a phase 2. They're relatively similar. The road has, I believe, a higher RG core.
You can see that one start to stand up a little sooner.
Yeah, I like to say that quick response bowling balls are quick response wherever the friction is, not always down lane. So if the friction is early, they respond early.
Verity now finds herself in the title match, again with a chance to take home the top prize tonight of $20,000. The runner-up will receive $10,000. And for Stephanie Zavala, who now finishes third, she will take home $7,500. Put another one down for Verity Crawley. 232 to 172. There you see the #1 seed, not wasting any time. It is time for the third and final giveaway, courtesy of Hammer. A Hammer bowling ball for one lucky viewer here tonight. It is underway now.
Mom, make sure you enter this one.
Same rules apply. All you got to do is just watch for the countdown to diminish. Make sure you get out of full screen so you can see the prompts. Left side of your screen, lower third specifically. When the time comes to hit submit entry, you just click there. That's all you got to do, folks. Just click submit entry, and you will have an opportunity to win a Hammer bowling ball. Again, $20K is on the line. As we watch Shannon Pluhowski take some practice shots, and we talked about just how good in the round of 12 specifically Shannon Pluhowski was. 211, 269, 248, 200, 269, 247, plus 244 for 6 games. For Pluhowski, she's got one game tonight, and she has been in this situation specifically as the top seed since the relaunch of the PWBA Tour many times over. For Shannon, in many cases, it's simply been about getting the job done in the stepladder finals, in the TV atmosphere, in the Bowl TV stepladder atmosphere. It's been her on that side of the lane all day long, and Sid, that situation presents itself as we congratulate Diane Jones. Congratulations, Diane. You got yourself a Hammer bowling ball. Again, same rules. Be sure to check out, or sorry, make sure you got your inbox open and cleared and ready to go. Bowl TV Marketing Squad will send you an email, and they want all of those details specifically for you, so you can get your bowling ball handy.
For the record, my mom said she did enter, so happy for you, Diane. A little sad for my mom. We gotta get Karen back into bowling.
Well, we got to get Kim a win.
Also true.
All right, Sid. As we bring you inside the booth for a little bit to set up this title match. Again, Emil Williams Jr. with Sydney Brummett. Sid, Verity Crawley climbing the ladder. Just climbing and climbing. She starts us off with 297. She has won now 3 straight matches. First against rookie Crystal Elliott, then against reigning PWBA Player of the Year Jordan Richard. Then, as you just saw, the #2 seed Stephanie Zavala, and now we'll face the lefty and Shannon Pluhowski. Just talked about what Shannon has been doing all day long. She's on the lane by herself. Simply put, What's Shannon's game plan? What do you think she has to do to get this thing done versus a very tough and stout Verity Crawley tonight?
Well, Verity has, momentum on her side. She's now bowled 3 matches, won 3 matches. She's been in the moment. Her feet are present. But for Shan P, it's simple. It's just make 10 quality shots. Have 10 quality shots go down the lane, have clean frames, and I think she wins the match. Her ball motion is going to be predictable. She'll have developed her side of the lane exactly how she wants. And the right-handed people did not get far enough left to mess with her laydown.
Which is something you mentioned in the pregame that could be a possibility, and if so, what would that do for Shannon's look? So as you just said, that did not happen. On the flip side, Sid, we watched the ball progressions for Verity. Fast pitch, optimum idle, and what looked to be the row. Do you think she goes to the row based on what she saw in the 10th frame, or does she stick with the idle for as long as she can, and then she knows obviously what ball to go to?
She sticks with the idle.
Okay.
She missed one time with it at when she made the transition into reactive, and it was a wrap 10. So she has great ball motion. She's going to need something predictable that she can get around it a little bit extra, hit it a little bit harder, and have it be predictable. With the road, quicker response bowling ball may not be the best option for a moment where when you really want one, you're going to get around it or hit it harder. So I would say she'll stick with the optimum to have that predictable ball motion.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. It's the championship match. Verity Crawley will face top seed Shannon Pluhowski for the GoBowling.com PWBA Twin Cities Open Championship. As we take you back to the lanes, Pluhowski with ball reps, Jason Wojner, Jeff Smith doing their last-minute items that they need to do to feel prepared and ready. It's the title match, folks.
Shannon has elected to have Verity begin the match. She'll be getting on the left lane once again. Bowling fans, put your hands together. First title of the season. 20,000 up for grabs. Pick out your favorite player. Cheer him on. Here we go.
Nice job by Damon Sirocco.
They are switching the names as we speak on our in-house scoring monitors. As of right now, Verity gets to bowl both matches, both games.
If you had to choose, if Verity had to bowl Verity, which Verity would win?
The Verity gets to finish on the right lane.
Okay. Well, she's starting another match. Undefeated on this show so far. Again, defeats the rookie Crystal Elliott, reigning player of the year Jordan Richard, 5-time champion Stephanie Zavala, and now Shannon Pluhowski, 2-time major champion. Two open, what a shot to start our title match here tonight. Cedarville Lanes in Eagan, Minnesota. Shannon Pluhowski, just an all-time gamer. You name it, just about she's done it at this point. 2021 Tour Championship winner, Queens champ in 06. She's been in many shows, but has struggled in this situation. Oh, what a great start. I think seeing all 10 go down for Pluhowski certainly helps get her into a rhythm, able to settle down quickly in this title match.
Yeah, and there's no doubt, too, when you watch Shannon, you're not really quite sure if she liked it or not. Like that one, I was like, did she like it or no? Her body language is consistent throughout an entire tournament, so it's not going to change here. She is throwing the purple hammer. Urethane ball.
This is what she threw the majority of the time during the round of 12 tonight. Great look. Bang.
At least she gave us a little fist pump on that one, so I knew. Okay, she liked it. Verity choosing to stay with the idol on both lanes.
For an early double to match. You saw that 6 wrap right around that 10 pin.
Overall, it's a great shot. We'll see her use her mix here to convert this 10 pin. I didn't want to jinx her, but as I was watching her shoot that, we had several instances in that round of 12 where we saw miscues from Verity on single pins. So in this last match, hopefully she can see the target, be confident in her shot making.
Yeah, there's no doubt there was some uncharacteristic miscues down the stretch. Luckily, they did not cost her a spot. In the title match, Dasha Kovalova finished 6th today, and she shot a very tough game, a very low game. Both players, Verity and Dasha, shooting low games, but Dasha had just enough, or excuse me, Verity had just enough to earn the number 5 seed, but she's taken full advantage of it. Great shot again.
Each time that Verity has gotten one up the lane, they have all struck. Hold is available to her. When she gets them to the right early, it's either been a strike or a wrap 10.
Puhalski looking for 3 in a row. Oh, 4 into the 7 nicely for an early 3-bagger. Look at that settee. There's Autumn. Shannon's oldest daughter. The youngest, I'm sure, watching at home, Emerson. Hello to Carrie. Shannon's mom's been here. I'm sure Papa Nick is watching as well. A lot of Shannon Puhalski fans across the world and the country. Believe it or not, this would be Shannon's first standard event win since the relaunch. That's in. Oh, give it to her. Holding on the offense by the name of Shannon Puhalski.
It's hard to believe that Shannon has 2 titles. You know, with as legendary as she is, she'll continue to put herself in the position to win out here. There's no doubt about that. But it is surprising that she only has 2 titles, both of them majors at that.
Puhalski starts with 4 in a row. Shout out to Chris. Full family affair for the Puhalskis. I got to give Autumn some more credit. Also, Jersey Asbady, they made me this really dope bracelet that I've been rocking. It's green and white and blue and clear. I appreciate them for that.
Ball change for Verity to the road on this right lane.
Wow, great look at that one going down the lane.
Two 10 pins in a row for Verity, both with the same bowling ball. I'm sorry, both with different bowling balls. One with the Optimum Idol, the next with the Road.
Spare by Crawley.
She'll make the change back to the idle on that left lane. It's been common for lane 28, the right lane for our TV pair, to hook earlier, which is why Verity would want to go to the road on that right lane, but not the left.
Verity playing Dutch right now, or going Dutch. Can she continue that momentum, that strike here in the left lane? Oh, wow. Oh, no. Boy, the pin carry here has been great this week.
When we watched her bowl on 25 and 26 in the round of 12, she also left a light shaker 410 on the lane just to the left of her right now. Fortunate to get the 4 pin to fall late, leaving only the 10 pin. Much easier spare to convert.
For Verity, obviously she's been in it, playing the long game as the number 5 seed tonight. But has performed admirably. But she's in an early hole here, trailing by 31. As Puhowski set to step up again. Winner receives $20,000. Runner-up will receive $10,000. 24-time Team USA member, 24 in a row. Looking for 5 in a row. And that time did not get away with missing right and pays the ultimate price 4-6.
Simply that shot is right off of Shannon's hand. You saw it in her body language. It's always a running joke on tour that Shannon's spare ball is whatever reactive ball she's not using currently. So we see her throw a GB5 at her spares. Or at least that's the spare ball this week. Who knows what it'll be next week.
Multi-time Team USA Trials champion. Multi-time U.S. Amateur champion. BPAA Women's All-Star champion. Got a couple of diamond wins of the Diamond Team Championships, or the Women's Championships, excuse me, in 15 and 18. There's a good look. Good spare. Big strike there. Back on top of it. Great look thanks to Greg Piesel. Again, another shout out to the crew here. Patrick, Greg, Leia, Curtis, JT. We had a lot to do today, folks. And, you know, it wouldn't have gotten done, honestly, without the full range of the team. I appreciate them. Back to Crawley. Another good look at the left to right. Boy, the same exact leave. Sydney Brummett, the wrap 10 on a great looking shot.
What was cool about Verity's face on the way back was she almost gave it like the nod of approval. Like that one was better. And she's process oriented to a T. I think one of her merchandise apparel pieces talks about progress and the process. Sure, the result wasn't what she wanted, but she executed how she wanted. She saw the ball motion she wanted.
The last 3 shots for Verity Crawley have resulted in 10 pins. And she has made all 3. Obviously, Shannon front 4, 4-6 strike. Crawley trailing by 18 pins. There's the big exhale. I want to shout out to all of our, of course, gold partners again. Brunswick, Go Bowling, Kegel, Lane Talk, and Storm. Our silver partners, 900 Global, Hammer, Motive, and Roto Grip. Our apparel partners, brand partners, and accessory partners. All of those wonderful companies and brands, product registered. We thank you for your support of the PWBA.
We're seeing a ball change from Verity on this left lane also. She's now.
Wow. Man. What's the move, Sid?
Left and slower. Left and slower has been the move for most of the women out here. When Carrie wasn't looking the greatest, they'd stay with a bowling ball that gave them a predictable shape. I think the road or the optimum is okay for Verity. If she wants to rotate it more, I would choose the optimum. If she wants to be more forward, the road. But it has to be slower.
Verity's going to take a moment. Someone is calling Cedarville Lanes. They would like to bowl tonight. Is there open play tonight here at Cedarville Lanes? Give it about 20 minutes. We got some open lanes for you. Ten pin. Handled. The only open lanes tonight are on 27 and 28. And they are currently occupied. Please make your reservations for tomorrow.
I see Verity putting on a shoe cover and running away. I'm unsure if that means I just need a moment or I'm going to throw something different.
Well, let's see if that ball that she's going to run and get will even be a part of the process here. Pluhowski, 7 goes. Fist pump. Shannon Pluhowski has done, again, just about everything you can do, even going back to certainly her youth career with multiple, in fact, 3 in a row, 3 junior gold titles, Junior Team USA. There's a great look at that. Nailed it. Then, of course, the standout career at Nebraska. Oh, wow.
Heard her say carry as it went down the lane.
Well, I tell you what, that just might be the one right there, Sid. You get that hit.
We are seeing a ball change from Verity. You'll have to excuse me. I don't know the name of it. It's the new Lightning from Storm.
And there you see that hit, which might be the dagger potentially. We don't know. But the ball change, as Sid has mentioned, on its way.
It is the Lightning Blackout, officially.
Trailing by 39. 2-8. And for Verity, the frames starting to run out of them. Pluhowski has owned Cedarville Lanes since this afternoon, without a doubt. This morning she shot 1363. This afternoon she shot 1444. She's had one block that was not 100 or more, 100 plus 100 or better. She went minus 49, I'm sorry, plus 49 last night and she was in a tie for 16th place. So effectively, she went from 16th coming into this morning and used the 12 games today to catapult herself into the top seed. 2-8.
Love that decision by Verity. She chose to go back to the ball that she knew the ball reaction of the road to make that spare. Oftentimes the 2-8 can give you insight into what the lane is doing.
Plowski's max score 266, Crawley just 215. Sometimes it just, the story certainly just writes itself. It's been a run of epic proportions here up this ladder for Crawley. The Go Bowling PWBA Twin Cities Open title hanging from the rafters. Two wonderful players and great individuals climbing. Verity had the head start, but now Pluhowski can sense it, feel it. The title is within reach. But first, Crawley. 9th frame. She will allow that to fall. 10-pin goes, of course, just a 4-pin. But and obviously she has been trying, really everything at this point. She's gone to the bag. She's made moves on the lanes. That 4-frame stretch of 10 pins, I think ultimately when this one is done will be the difference.
There's no doubt about that. And in a similar boat to Crystal, the nod goes to Verity and you ask, would you bowl that game again? If the answer is yes, like physically, execution-wise, would you bowl that game again? If the answer is yes, okay, then next time you can use a different strategy than you did this time. You can learn from what happened here.
Pluhowski looking for a winning moment. 6-pin. Down to almost one full knee there.
And with that mark, I believe this one is mathematically over, and Shannon Pluhowski is going to have her very first standard PWBA Tour title.
It'll be number 3 overall. This is her 21st show since the relaunch. 21st show since the relaunch. Bang! Shannon Pluhowski, you see it on her face. The exhale. Autumn right there to her right. And she gives a nice high five to one of the proprietors here, Brent Prentice. Autumn really just wanted a good seat. Shannon came down earlier, was asking, hey, can family sit? And Tony said, yep, no problem, we got seats. She's like, Autumn's telling me the bleachers are full. Where am I going to sit?
Wherever you want, besides like the ball return. You're Autumn. We all love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2020
Shannon Pluhowski takes home this season opening title here at the GoBowling.com PWBA Twin Cities Open. How about that? And Verity Crawley, hell of a step ladder, well bowled. If you were not a fan of Verity, and that's almost impossible at this point. But if you just like bowling and the strategy of things, Verity's game plan was spectacular. Ultimately, The carry went away late. She will earn $10,000, but $20K to the Pluhowski family. Verity, again, if you joined us late, had the front 11, shot 297 in the opening match. Of course, we will. There will be a trophy presentation. Mr. Damon Sirocco will handle, and then we will welcome Shannon O'Keefe into the Bold TV booth. One more for BC. Sid, let me ask just your overall thoughts, and I'll have you back in to kind of wrap this up after we talk with Shannon. But I think this is one of the better step ladders I've seen, and specifically one bowler making the right moves, and obviously Shannon just doing what she had to do. Your thoughts on this overall step ladder?
I think we saw a very professional, humble experience there from Verity, to make the changes that you needed to understand that the lane was transitioning, and it was transitioning quickly. She was bold and brave, and it was incredible to watch her. And she ultimately knew, hey, if I'm fortunate enough to make it through the stepladder finals, I'm going to find Shannon Pluhowski in this last match, and I'm going to need a great score. Shannon was no doubt the leader of the pack through 12, the round of 12, and she was going to put up a great number.
All right, at this time, it's my pleasure to bring up our provider, Brent Prentice, and Brent is going to present Shannon with the trophy. All right, Brent. Thank you, Brent. Everything's attached there, right? Okay. Question for you, Shannon. Thanks for the dance. So captured the first title of the year. This is title number 3 for you. Which front runner was the player of the year? Do you have some folks that you'd like to thank?
Thank you, fans. It's been a great time. We love coming to Minnesota.
All right, congratulations, Shannon. Thank you. Fans, one more time. Thank you, folks. We appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Great time here in Minnesota. You don't have to go home. The tournament is over.
All right. Well, if you know Shannon Pluhowski, you know that he's got a few words. We will talk with Shannon Pluhowski here in a moment, so folks, don't go away. Believe it or not, yeah, that's just par for the course that mic didn't work like it was supposed to.
It's where we're at. We love adversity. I tell my college kids this all the time. We love adversity. It makes us better.
We had a ton. So Sid, that headset actually won't reach. So we'll need to trade places.
Deal.
I will talk with Shannon for a few minutes, and then I'm going to have you come back, and then we'll close the show.
Beautiful.
Sound good?
I will always be a runner-up to Shan P. She's a legend, so I will definitely follow her.
Unless All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's see if you can you hear Shannon Pluhowski?
Hi, everyone out there.
Maybe not. How about now?
Hi, everyone in Bowl TV land.
There we go. Now we're cooking. All right. Just tell JT. Get JT. All right, we're good. Thank you, Patrick. All right, here we go. Let's zoom out a little bit if we can, GP. And, well, first and foremost, we've got the winner, Shannon Pluhowski, here on Bowl TV. Shannon, I'm going to ask you to move ever so slightly to – there we go. No, they're taking care of it for us. They're taking care of it for us. I want to make sure we get close, right?
Okay.
We've got to get you in there. All right, so I apologize if it's too close.
Right.
Carrie, I'm sorry if you're feeling a certain way. We had to make sure this is good. Okay, you got this thing done, right? I believe this was, I said more than 20. This was the 21st since the relaunch. And we know sometimes there's been some things that go down in TV shows and Bowl TV stepladders that have prevented you from doing what you just did. You looked so comfortable out there. What was the difference tonight for you?
You know, I went back to the game plan I had in 21 when I won the Tour Championships. I didn't practice very much on the pair, just threw a few shots, just trying to keep it as fresh as possible. And then just been kind of confident all week. I started, you know, Jason was making fun of me because I felt like my swing wasn't very good the first couple games, but I found a groove, and then just kept practicing over there and just tried to stay with it, just try to be confident.
The ability to earn the top seed, you handled that this morning by going plus 244, I should say, this afternoon, and really this morning as well. You came in here tied for 16th, so you had some ways to go. What was the game plan into the morning and then into the afternoon? And then you go plus 244 and take over.
In the morning, I didn't bowl good. I missed a few spares. Just had ups and downs, and then the last 6 games I was clean, and so that was a goal, obviously. Clean frames helps your score. I was the only lefty, so I was excited about that. So I kind of knew what the pairs were going to do, so just had to stick to my game plan.
Yeah, and let's run it back to this summer, in this off season. Was there anything that you did differently or that really stood out to you that prepared you to get off to a good start here in this very first week?
Not the whole season. I mean, I tried to, practice a little bit at both 3 leagues, but we had training camp last week. And so I worked on, with the 6-pounder. That's one of the drills I like to do. Did that for a while. We shot a bunch of spares, even though I missed a few. But we did shoot a bunch of spares, but bowled on patterns, and so just that was really good prep for me.
The ability to roll into the next week, right? I mean, everyone wants to start off the season in the position that you're in. How do you roll? Well, what just happened? The momentum. We know it's going to be different,
right.
But can you take what happened today and maybe bowl? Not that you weren't bowling free, but you can just bowl free for the rest of the season.
I think so. There's no pressure to win now, right? And I think that's always what you put pressure on is to win. You said I've made a lot of shows and I haven't won. So to finally be the top seed and win, I always, say that I'd rather be the top seed and only have to bowl one game, and it's a 50-50 chance, So this time I got the good side of it. I've had the bad side, but it's okay.
Well, we know you had family watching.
I
Carrie's
did.
Watching.
Carrie and the kids. Yep, Christopher and Emmy. Sad they couldn't be here, but he graduates soon, so that's important. He's got to finish school. It was nice to have Autumn here, though. Autumn stayed, and so she's been my little ball rep for the last 18 games or so. She kept score for me and told me to keep it together.
And you listened.
I did. It's a long ride home if I don't. And my mom's here. It's the first time she's seen me win. She wasn't there in 21 when I won. My dad was, so that's exciting.
Anything else, Sid?
No, I think it's cool to watch you win your first standard event. You're such a legend, and it's like, how is this the first one?
Sid, that makes me sound old.
Well, you do get 24 years on Team USA consecutively.
That's true.
Well
That's
seasoned,
true.
know.
Yeah.
But really, it's just, I think, a kudos to who you are, that we all know who you were and who you will continue to be. So thanks for paving the way.
Thanks, Sid.
Thank you, Shannon Pluhowski. Congratulations, kicking off this season with a win. The 2024 GoBowling.com PWBA Twin Cities Open champion. Shannon, we know you got a ton of media to do, so I'm going to let you get to that.
Okay.
Sid and I will close the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, GP, let's take it to the lanes. Excellent work there. All right, Sid, we'll be back on here in just a moment.
Cool.
All right, folks. I mean, that was about as good as you can get right there. Verity was fantastic and nearly achieved the goal of climbing the ultimate ladder here this weekend, but it was not to be because Shannon Pluhowski had her own game plan. It worked also to near perfection. And Sid, you just heard, you know, Shannon generally not a player of many words, but you can tell how much this win really meant to her. How would you describe and just kind of sum up what we watched tonight?
We watched one of the most professional step ladders I've seen. Even with Crystal Elliott, you know, being a rookie on tour, this being her first event and making the TV, like the finals, we saw her come out and bowl a well-executed game. There are probably a handful of shots that we saw that players wouldn't want to throw again. So from all 5 players, we saw quality, bold games. We saw the transition of the lanes. We lived it with them. And so it was amazing to be a part of it, live through them, experience it with them. And ultimately, we knew that Shan P was going to lead the way. And she threw, I would say, 9 quality shots that ended up giving her the title today.
The only one certainly was the 4-6 in the 5th, but it did not become a detrimental situation. Hats off to Verity Crawley. 297 in the opening match, folks, against Crystal Elliott. Took us on a ride, certainly, and she will have another runner-up finish, and that's the one thing for Verity. She's been in the title match so many times. She's got a ton of seconds, but she will have another opportunity, and everyone else will next week when the tour heads to Rockford, Illinois for the Bowlers Journal PWBA Greater Rockford Open. It's going to be a great opportunity and a great chance to see all of the best again. We hope you will join us next week at the Cherry Bowl. The PTQ for that one starts Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central Time. And, of course, qualifying will begin on Friday morning at 10 a.m. Central. Sydney will be there. I will be there. And our entire crew will be there, or at least most of us. Patrick Martinez, speaking of the crew, again, we had some stuff go down, folks, just before the show was about to start. We had to make a lot of changes, and it was very seamless. I want to thank Patrick Martinez, Leah Zwei, Curtis Von Kruger, Greg Piesel stepping into a role that he had not yet been in with us here on Bowl TV producing tonight. We appreciate Greg. Thank you so much. I want to thank Jason Thomas as well, Carolyn Campa, Donovan, Gene, Brent Prentice, Sharon, everyone here at Cedarville Lanes. Tony, what a phenomenal way to kick off the year. With that said, folks, we'll see you next week in Rockford. Shannon Pluhowski, a champion again. She defeats Verity Crawley 235 to 203 to take home the Twin Cities Open presented by GoBowling.com. That's going to do it for us tonight. Congratulations to all of our giveaway winners. Thank you to our gold partners, Brunswick, Go Bowling, Kegel, Lane Talk, and Storm, and everyone else involved with the PWBA Tour. For Sydney Brummett, Greg Piesel, and our entire crew and staff, my name is Emil Williams Jr. We say so long for now. We'll see you next week in Rockford. This has been a presentation, the Step Ladder Finals of the PWBA Twin Cities Open presented by GoBowling.com. You watched it live and only on Bowl TV. Bowling lives here. Good night, folks.